Uniformed, sleek, minimalistic. All of these put into one thing that you will literally have forever. This is the Protagonist. No matter if you get tired of how it sounds or even of how it looks, this is something that you can change within a split second and immediately get a brand new perspective unlike you've ever seen before. This keyboard is in every way customizable. You don't like the color of the keyframes? Switch it up. You're tired of the way your weight makes your board sound? Swap it. You love the creation you just made? Keep it. You finally found your endgame keyboard that will last you a lifetime. This is where we will start. We have a massive carrying case holding everything together, nicely and safely. And the first thing we see is a beautiful Protagonist shining right back at you. It's nicely nestled in and surrounded by protective foaming too. Flipping over the divider, we see a pocket holding all the accessories you'll need. This includes the gaskets, the hex driver, the feet, the daughter board, and all other basic accessories too, including a massive microfiber cloth. Now in the next compartment, this is where we will have our PCB and other various plates. The Protagonist is a 60% keyboard with a modifiable layout, having support for a WinKey, WinKeyless, and HHKB layout. Each config is interchangeable with something called the keyframe, and in addition to the different layouts provided, there are also multiple colors, materials, and types of keyframes that are compatible with every Protagonist unit. For the keyframe materials, we have the standard aluminum, the more premium copper, and the very high quality frosted or smoky polycarbonate. For the actual case, we have two material options. We have aluminum and we also have polycarbonate. And for the weight, we have two types of weights with three types of materials. The first weight has the word Protagonist written across it, and the second weight has the wired-in logo inscribed for a more minimalistic weight. The three materials for the weight are also brass, copper, and stainless steel. Now for the plate materials, the options are alu, polycarbonate, PP, carbon fiber, POM, and FR4. The PCB is also something very interesting and has some very cool factors in it too. This PCB is a 1.6mm PCB made from a black FR4. We'll get more to that later, but for now, there's both a hot swap and soldered PCB available. Also, this is a higher-end board, so pricing will start from $350 and can go all the way up to $600 depending on what you choose. But I suggest looking at the online configurator to get a more accurate price, and also to take a look at the amazing colors there are too. But for now, let's take a look at two sound tests and see how they really sound. The first up is a no-foam build with an alu plate and HMX Swifts, and the second is a no-foam build with the POM plate and BSUN X switches. The Protagonist sounds very consistent with every key pressed, and overall the sound profile sounds very even and clacky. But each possible config sounds different though. Based on what you like and what materials you prefer, you can make this board sound perfect in any way you'd like it to be. This is by far the best sound config I have ever heard. This is also by far one of the best feeling boards I have typed on. The Protagonist doesn't feel flimsy or mushy, it feels very rigid and secure, and it doesn't have any inconsistency for how each switch ends up feeling. Since the PCB has no flex cuts, there's no flex to the board, but since this is a gasket mounted keyboard, there's a bit of bounce given, and there's also additionally firmer or less firm gaskets available. The typing angle is also very comfortable to type with. Everything just flows nicely when typing, and I don't end up having any carpal tunneling in my wrists like some other keyboards, which is also a very nice added bonus. This design was also made to be unique to your perspective and visual appeal. You are the curator for your own design, and you tune what you like both visually and sound-wise. Laying right on top, nestled nicely by 4 hidden screws, is the first visual attraction. This part is the keyframe. No matter what color or type of keyframe you have, this part of the Protagonist is both essential to the sound and the looks of the Protagonist, allowing you to customize its visual appeal and change its sound all at once. This keyframe is the copper keyframe, and not only does it add nice heft to the board, it also makes the board sound different compared to the aluminum keyframe. Just by changing something as simple as the keyframe material, the board has a brand new personality and vibe, completely different from before. Next, we have a premium polycarbonate case attached to the main attraction on the bottom of the board. This is the massive weight that gives the Protagonist its style and class. The weight also has a very clean anti-patina finish and gives an overall minimalistic touch to the designs of the keyboard. Now, backtracking to before, this is the PCB. Like I said, this PCB is something more special than it looks. Not only is this PCB made from a high-grade black FR4 used and seen in electronics from big tech companies like Apple and Samsung, but it also has some cool Protag Easter eggs and designs incorporated into the PCB. This is also by far one of the best PCBs I've used, and also 100% the most premium feeling one. Also, on the bottom of this PCB is where the amazingly diffused RGB lighting is held. The LED diodes are hidden behind the weight, and if you have the polycarbonate case, you get some of the best diffused lighting you'll ever see on a keyboard. Whether you like things a certain way or are interested in trying something new, this is a keyboard that allows you to play with your options and lets you choose the story surrounding your board. You, just like the keyboard, are the Protagonist. You decide what you want to build and how you want it done. If you found the config you'll love forever, then you finally won the game.